This is KCBD News Channel 11 at 6.
It is now up to the defense to keep Hollis Daniels alive. Prosecutors have wrapped up their case to execute the man who shot and killed a Texas Tech police officer nearly 6 years ago. Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Hollis Daniels' defense attorneys are now making the case for the former Texas Tech student to spend the rest of his days in a state penitentiary. The state spent a week portraying Daniels as a remorseless killer who even wished death on more officers after his arrest for murdering Officer Floyd East, Jr.
KCBD News Channel 11's Shaylee Sanders joins us from the Lubbock County Courthouse, where defense attorneys are focusing on Daniels' mental illness and warnings of self-harm. Shaylee?
That's right, Karen and Abner. The defense pulled up an email that was sent from Janice Daniels, that's Hollis Daniels' mother, in 2016. She sent that to a Texas Tech University advisor asking for counseling resources for her son. Now, this was when her son was a freshman, a year before that deadly shooting. We know from the defense's opening statement that they are going to argue Hollis Daniels was not in his right mind at the time of the shooting. They called Daniels' former roommate to the stand, who said he remembered Daniels taking Xanax the weekend leading up to the shooting and testified that Daniels constantly smoked marijuana in the dorm room. The state's last witness before they handed it over to the defense was Carmen East, Officer Floyd East Jr.'s widow. She described what a loving husband and father he was as photos of the family man were projected onto a large screen. East's loved ones became emotional as they saw photos of themselves with East. Now, today the state also read notes that were found inside Daniels' jail cell at the Lubbock County Detention Center. One of them said, "I hate what I have done. I am unable to sleep soundly. I know that man has a family and friends who will want to put me away forever. Whose prayers will God respond to?" Now, those notes go on to say, "God save my soul, and I don't want to get away with this. I imagine a 25 to life sentence is what I will receive. To me, that is scarier than the death sentence." The trial will resume at 9 a.m. tomorrow. We will be there bringing you live updates. Karen and Abner.
Thank you, Shaylee.